Yo, 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 what's up, boys? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? We bringing the heat today, aren't we? We are bringing the heat today. Most definitely. Shout out to Sean Brady, the man of the hour. All right. Shout out to Sean Brady, the man of the hour, the man who everyone's coming to tune into. The face on the thumbnail this evening, Sean Brady. On this slow news day, Sean Brady, he blessing us. He blessing us with some some content, if you will. I know that, I come off very anti Sean Brady, and I am. But at the same time, credit where it's due. At least Brady is leaning into the beef finally. And he speaks about it. The beef with who? Mr. Joaquin Buckley, his opponent, come May 9th in New Jersey. In New Jersey. Atlantic City, if I'm not mistaken. What's poppin', everybody in the chat, though? Let me show some love to everybody. But yeah, drop the Buck emojis, drop the Sean Brady emojis, and honestly, the thumbnail and the title don't even depict one of my best takes. The best take about this whole interview, I mean, how do I say this? Joaquin Buckley has been living rent-free in this dude's head for years. And it's all because of content that's originated on this platform. I got the clips locked and loaded. Okay, I got the clips locked and loaded and ready for you boys. Here's one of them right here. You see it because Sean Brady don't wash his ass. We got another one right here. You see the title. Joaquin Buckley on bullying Sean Brady at the UFC PI during International Fight Week. The quote is, he was like a kid. Okay, so Sean Brady finally responding, finally addressing this stuff that was posted. This was posted a year ago, July 25th, 2024. So we're coming up on 2 years in a couple of months here. Sean Brady Joaquin been living rent free in Sean Brady's head for years, bro. When did this post originate? February 21st, 2024. Homie's still talking about this. This is why I'm saying Joaquin been living rent free in Brady's head for years. I got to say it for the one last time. All right, but before I start diving into this whole thing, I know I get excited and start kind of early, so let me just say what's up to everybody. This is pretty much the headline for the day. This is pretty much the main topic. Yes, I have been in contact with Joaquin today. I will probably share with you, what he texted me, because it's really a small thing, and he did respond to this, but it's nothing really. But I'm waiting to see if he's willing to come on. Essentially, I've reached out to him, and I'm asking, I told him I'm live tonight. If you want to come through, come through. I'm only going to be live for a couple hours, so we'll see. But I have reached out to Joaquin. I have spoke to him, and, stay tuned. If Joaquin doesn't come on, I guess I'll just tell you guys what he thinks of the whole, Brady firing back at Buckley. That's the title, right? Brady fires back at Buckley before UFC 328, firing back for comments he made years ago. Been living rent-free in homie's head. Okay, let me read the chat. Perfecto, shout out to you for being number one in here, homeboy. I see you using the emojis. We got the smoke in here. We bring in the smoke today. We want all the smoke today. I wouldn't be surprised, okay? Clearly, I'd be popping up on Sean Brady's YouTube. Because honestly, this clip right here that I'm going to show you later, I never even made a short out of it. This never left YouTube. This clip that Sean Brady's talking about never left YouTube. So I definitely be popping up on his YouTube channel without a doubt. Why do I say that? Well, because tonight's thumbnail is spicy. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Sean Brady, I pop up on his YouTube recommendations and he finds himself in this live stream. We might have Buckley in here too. How special would that be? Can we get a little press conference going? But yeah, we bring in the smoke today. Drop the Sean Brady emojis in the chat for all the members. Drop the Joaquin Buckley emojis in the chat for all the members. If you're not a member, shit, you don't got access. Tom says Sean Brady got the hell beat out of him and then said he had broken ribs. Yeah, well, he's coping and making excuses about the Michael Morales loss. I guess I can give you guys some cliff notes ahead of time But before I do, let me read Bloodhound Lil Jeff saying, just popped 125 milligrams of kratom to this stream. I never taken kratom, but I heard about it. I heard, it's kind of like taking a Xanax, if you will. Gives you like a barred out effect. Nah, but Sean Brady in this Ariel Helwani interview, homie coping hard and making excuses, and that's why it's on the thumbnail. He's saying that like he wasn't mentally prepared to go into the Michael Morales fight. He's insinuating he had an injury. He reveals he had bursa on the knee. Who knows if that's the injury he's referring to, right? But he basically insinuates he had some type of thing going on. His medicals weren't right. He wasn't really, his fight was technically up in the air until like hours before the fight took place, like the day of. Up until that point, it was up in the air whether or not he would be able to compete, essentially. And he's saying that, my mental mind state, it wasn't in the right place when I stepped in the cage because I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to fight because of my medicals. He doesn't reveal what the issues were with the medicals, but Ariel asks him later in the interview, what's up with the 2 knee braces in the fight? And he goes, well, I had bursa. And, this commission in the state that I was fighting in, I think it was MSG maybe. The commission over there said, you can wear knee braces. So I just wore 2 of them so that he didn't know what knee was compromised. And then he goes on to respond to Joaquin Buckley. But, he basically says he had one of the best camps of his life for Michael Morales. He says that, he thinks he could beat him. He wants the rematch and all these things. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right mindset coming into this Joaquin Buckley fight. So you mean to tell me you did nothing wrong? You did nothing wrong. You got nothing to change after that loss to a striker, right? Don't forget, he lost to Mr. Canelo Hands himself. Got put out on his back, I believe. Not put out cold, but, he got TKO'd. And arguably took a way out. And arguably, now with the power of hindsight, took the fall in the Michael Morales fight too. Homie finds a way out of the fights. Potentially. I'm not going to fully accuse him, but I'm going to say the jury's out. Sean Brady, he just dropped to his butt in the Bilal Muhammad. Oh, no, it was a standing TKO, right? It's been a minute, but I know he wasn't out bad at all. So it makes me wonder, the Michael Morales knockout, kind of like a flash little hit to the back of the head, on the crown, so to speak. Brady goes down. Was it really a bad shot, or was he not mentally prepared in there and just found the way out because of his circumstances? We don't know. But homie got nothing to change going into this fight with Joaquin because, he got excuses and he got COPES for the Morales loss instead of taking it on the chin. So shout out to Sean Brady. Tom goes, everyone's like, yeah, that's from the butt whooping. You got Sean speaking about Sean's excuse with the broken ribs. Sean Brady's another stick in the mud. What's cracking, playa? Sorry, I'm a little bit behind, but I'm trying to get caught up right now. So the homies sub chat, my man. Everybody say what's up to MTK, MMA homie in the building, my co-host. Shout out to MTK. Caught me by surprise in here, homie. I was not expecting to see MTK in here. But shout out MTK. Wednesdays is the usually me and MTK show. But today it's just me. We get MTK, twice a month. So looks like we'll get MTK back in April. So look forward to that. All the homies love MTK. Go follow the MMA homies. IG, X, all the platforms. Tom saying, sup, I always root for Joaquin. We always root for Joaquin. Streets talking. The streets are talking. Perfecto dropping the buck emojis and the Sean emojis. Shout out Perfecto. Dylan says, sub Castro, Sean Brady is not keeping it 55th Street. He's not. Sean Brady not keeping it 55th. 55th Street. He got beat badly by dude who ties his shirt in a knot. Who ties his shirt in a knot? Oh yeah, Michael Morales as like a little sports bra type shit. Super gay. He does that thing where he pulls up the bottom through the neck or something, right? Super gay. Jew, what's poppin'? Jew saying his striking sucks. Well, luckily for Joaquin, he hasn't done anything to improve it because I guess it doesn't suck that bad. There was other reasons why he lost to Michael Morales, like he wasn't mentally ready. Like he wasn't mentally ready. And for the record, you know what? Let me save some of this. Let me save some of this for I was about to start, giving you guys my reactions. Let me save some of this for once we get going. But before we play this video, we're going to get into it now. Before we play this video, everybody go ahead and run up the likes on the stream. All right, we want 25 on the evening. 25 is the goal, boys. So run up them likes on the stream for me, please. As I'm bringing you, gold content on this slow news day. There's never any news this day and age in the MMA world. But shit, every night on here, I bring you boys something. So run up the likes on the stream. 25 is the goal. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I got the timestamps for the Brady interview, so we won't waste any time. Let me just get right to it. They do get right to it, but let me just... Okay, so they're going to start off by speaking about, why the fight got changed to UFC 328. So let's hear some of the lore, right? Two parts. We're speaking about Sean Brady, his loss to Michael Morales, and we're speaking about Sean Brady pre-fight interview for Joaquin Buckley at UFC 328 on May 9th. Mark your calendars. The people's main event, if you will. Not really. I won't say that it's above Strickland versus Hamzat, but, this is definitely a banger fight, and it's not because of the dude on the screen. It's because of Joaquin Buckley. Okay, let's play this. No need to really fast forward it. We can play out the intro and everything. So,
brother, how are you?
We're in the dungeon today here. What are we doing?
We're in the dungeon. My daughter's sleeping, so it's time for me to get a lift in right after this conversation. So,
oh gosh,
we're just getting ready. We had sparring this morning, and now I have to do some other just like strength and conditioning stuff. So while she sleeps, Dad's got to get it in.
Wait a second. I'm feeling a little bit stressed here. I feel like I'm eating into your training time here. How long is this nap?
She naps from 2:30 to 4. So we got plenty of time. We're all good.
You just put her down.
Yeah, right before I got on with you guys.
Good work. How is she doing?
She's good, man. She's just turned a year in February, so time is flying. It's crazy. She's walking everywhere, falling into stuff. It's been crazy, but yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, well, congrats and very glad to hear. Welcome back. We're fighting in Jersey. There was some talk of you fighting at the Apex, right? What happened there? They moved it?
Yeah, so we were originally April 25th is when they scheduled us. We were supposed to be the main event at the Metapex or the Apex, whatever they call it nowadays. And then Hunter actually called Lloyd probably a week ago and was like, hey, would Sean be opposed to fighting on the Prudential card in New Jersey? And any chance I get to fight close to home, I'm taking it. When I was fighting for Cage Fury, I was going from Philly to Atlantic City, Philly to Atlantic City. So now this is an AC, but it's still in New Jersey, so it's still home court advantage in my opinion. So it's 3 rounds. And I'm sure the pay that you get for a main event isn't huge. So I'm taking a little bit of a pay cut, but I don't have to train for 5 rounds, which is a lot of wear and tear on the body. So I'll take it.
I do believe the last time you fought.
Translation: homie's happy he don't got to go 5 rounds with the great Joaquin Buckley. He happy he don't got to go 5 rounds with the great Joaquin Buckley. He lucky too. We all know 5 rounds would have favored Buck. We all know it. Let's get the poll going while the interview's playing. Buck or Brady? Actually, no. Brady goes on the left. He's higher ranked. We got to keep it fair. Brady or Buck? Although Buck's the bigger name, his name should really come first. He's the one selling this fight. Okay, vote up that poll. But, like I said, Sean Brady, he happy it's not 5 rounds anymore. Guarantee if I were to ask Joaquin that question, he's like, I would have liked the 5 rounds. I would have really liked to, put the work on Sean Brady, really cook him in there. You know, he escaped that from me, but here's Sean Brady. Is he like, oh, you know, I'm happy, you know, the work that it takes, I'm glad I don't got to do that. Two different mindsets, two completely different mindsets. I get both, but I prefer one, and it's not this one.
In the state of New Jersey, February 16th, 2019.
Yep.
Your last who'd you fight? Do you remember?
Taj Abdul. I forget his last name.
Hakeem.
But, yep. I defended my Cage Fury belt, which is funny. Next weekend, I'll be in Atlantic City cornering a bunch of my teammates because all the coaches will be in Seattle with Joey for his fight. So we got a staple of guys fighting next weekend for Cage Fury. So they're still producing great talent.
I was wondering if you were going to go out to Seattle. Would you have gone out if you didn't have to do that?
If I didn't have that's like Seattle's far.
Yeah.
That's farther than Vegas. So I was not I'll be 6 weeks out at that point. So, and now with the baby, it's too hard.
Well, I know that you said that you prefer, not prefer, but 3 rounds, 5 rounds. The pay isn't that different. But fighting close.
What did he say about Seattle? Sorry, let me just rewind it.
It's not
Seattle.
They're still producing great talent.
I was wondering if you were going to go out to Seattle. Would you have gone out if you didn't have to do that?
If I didn't have that's like Seattle's far.
Yeah.
That's farther than Vegas. So I was not
Okay, not fight related. I was just curious about what Seattle was about, but it's not fight related. It's about his teammates. We're about to get into the Joaquin part where he speaks about, you know, how the booking came together, how it came across his table. So that's going to come up in about a minute here.
Weeks out at that point. So, and now with the baby, it's too hard.
Well, I know that you said that you prefer, not prefer, but 3 rounds, 5 rounds. The pay isn't that different. But fighting closer to home as opposed to going all the way out in Vegas, right? Especially a numbered event. A lot of people there, Prudential Center. It's got to feel a little bit, not bigger, but like there's a little more juice attached to it, I feel like.
Yeah, especially if you're obviously looking at the card. I mean, if you have Hamza and Sean Strickland attached to the card, it's definitely a big card. And yeah, main events are cool. Having your face on a poster is cool, but it's also cool not having to fly my wife and my newborn. I mean, not my newborn, right? My 1-year-old across the country. You know, we'll drive from my house to the host hotel. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, wow. I can't beat that. So yeah, we'll drive up on Tuesday or Wednesday, and we'll have the whole team up there. We'll get a big Airbnb, and we'll treat it the same way as if we were somewhere else. But yeah, and like I said, like I'm cool with 3 rounds, 5 rounds, whatever. But the amount of work that you have to do on top of everything we already do for a 5-round fight, it's a lot, and it's a lot of stress on your body. So a main event is obviously awesome, but 3 rounds is also fine with me.
How do you feel about the opponent when you?
God forbid this dude gets any more stress on his body than he needs. And keep in mind, he's talking about headlining a card, you know, add stress to his body. He clearly not made for this headliner spot, this championship status. Just read between the lines, bro. And I just got to say, it's like, God forbid, you know, the work got to increase for Mr. Sean Brady. You know, he might come down with a staph infection. You know, he might come down with some type of new infection. This dude gets so stressed out, he comes down with a new infection every single fucking fight. That, or he cuts so much weight that his immune system is just like completely turfed. I can't tell which one it is. It's probably a mixture of both. You know, immune system shot, he be stressing about these fights. He do be stressing about these fights, in my opinion. They speak about, you know, guys who, once that contract is signed, that's when the real mental battle begins, you know, and whoever can deal with that the best is usually the guy who can win the fight. And that's something that I think the Ultimate Fighter has done a really good job of, is building that mental toughness in the fighters. You know, you get your opponent, you're locked in, who breaks first mentally. And this is a deep thought about the fight game. If you're not really, you know, I'm not calling myself a fighter, but I relate to them. And I'm saying if you're not really of that fighter mentality, you might not get what I'm saying. But, you know, it's been spoken about a lot. Even BJ Penn speaks about it. He says that his very first thing he would do if he had a son who was an MMA fighter, he'd walk him into a gym, he'd grab the coach and he'd say, "Hey, coach, I want my boy to fight your boy," and then he'd tell his son, "You're gonna fight him next week." And then he'd leave his son alone for like the rest of the week, let him sleep on it, let him think about it, let him, internalize that whole thing. And he essentially thinks that that's the biggest component to the fight game, is like once the contract gets signed, once the opponent is given, right? Who's going to be more of a head case in the buildup? And, so just putting it out there, I think Joaquin Buckley, way less of a head case in the buildup to a fight. I think he built for it. That shit's super normal to him. He knows his opponent, super normal. He not tripping. Sean Brady, I think he stresses big time. Personally, I do.
We're offered Joaquin. Were you happy with it?
Yeah, of course, I always want somebody ranked higher than me, especially going from where I was before I fought Michael Morales. I was #1 in the world. And obviously, I took that fight. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me that night. But you always want to fight up in the rankings. But I kind of knew this was a matchup that was very possible. I just fought. I lost. He fought. He lost. So we're both coming off losses. It's a good style matchup. So I knew that it was a possibility. Of course, I asked for Bilal. I asked for Protez. I asked for everybody. And they came back with Buckley, which is fine with me in my mind. I beat him. I get right back on the horse. I'm right back in the winning column, and I'm right back in the race for a very clogged up division still. So, yeah, I'm just happy I have a fight.
Maybe the most clogged division. I'll ask you about that in a moment. But this is our first time chatting since MSG. You've had a few months to digest it.
Yep.
And you took a gamble there, obviously, because you were
Here comes the excuses and the coping. Here it comes.
the #1 guy, and you fought back, and Michael Morales is a stud. No shame in losing to him. How do you feel about it? Can you tell us your feelings on what transpired that night in MSG and how you dealt with it in the immediate aftermath?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because MMA is the craziest sport. I had I had the best training camp I've probably ever had in my life. It was the best I ever felt going into a fight. And then you can do all the right things and you still lose, It's that's why it's such a crazy sport, but it's such an amazing sport as well. But yeah, everything was going smooth up until Thursday. Like, I don't want to get too crazy with the details because I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses, but I essentially didn't know I was fighting until Saturday at 5 p.m.
What? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. So just a lot of stuff. Something was wrong with not wrong. Something was going on with my medicals, and they didn't know if they were going to be able to get me cleared. So we had to do. We went through a lot from Thursday before the press conference until essentially Saturday, right before the fight. A lot of stuff went down, and UFC did everything they could to make the fight happen, and obviously they did. But I don't think from when I found out that something like this was going on, that I was in the right frame of mind. Because I didn't know, I was like, am I fighting? Am I not fighting? And ultimately, I fought. I still went in there. I thought I was going to be able to still pull it off, but unfortunately, it didn't work out for me that night.
Was it super stressful?
Yeah, of course. And that's why I try not to talk about. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses. Listen, Morales, he's big.
Literally, no one asked Brady to give that excuse. No one asked Brady to give that excuse. Ariel asked him about the loss, and homie went straight to it. So I mean, saying one thing, doing another. Went straight to it, but he don't want to make the excuse. I get it. He not the first one to do this, and he not the last one to do this. It's a very common thing. Not making any excuses, and then here they come.
He's strong. I was either going to go out there, take him down, and do what I do to people, or he was going to do what he did to me. And he caught me. And it's crazy because that's the first time I've ever even been dropped. Like in training, a fight, I've never hit the canvas. And that's the first time I've ever hit the canvas. So,
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, yeah, so it was super stressful. It was a very, very weird situation. I know for a fact I'm never fighting in the state of New York again, hopefully. It was just a crazy experience. And Listen, it is what it is. I rolled the dice and it didn't work out.
Do you regret taking the fight?
No, no, of course not. Because I could have went out there and I could have strangled him, or I could have won, and everything would have been. And it's crazy because I could have still went out there, won that fight, and not have gotten a title shot next. You know, like, so in my mind, I'm like, I was still one fight away anyway, because look what's going on right now with the division. But yeah, and obviously this is how we get paid. And
How the fuck does that make sense? He says, if I were to have beat Michael Morales, I probably still would have had to fight one more time, right? Because his division's crazy. And, you know, I'm not a star. And then he goes on to say, like, so that's why, you know, if I beat Buckley, I'm right in the mix. Like, bro, no. That's more the reason why you're definitely just out of the mix completely now. Because you probably would have had to fight again if you beat Michael Morales. You know, you were number one in the world, but that's all you were, Sean Brady. That's all you were. You got there by happenstance. You know, the thing about Sean Brady is that Sean has been super inactive for years. You know, he a little bit like a princess too. And you know, all that stuff is done with now. You know, he's not a princess anymore. He's got a kid and he can't afford to you know, be the head case that he usually is, come down with an infection, come down with an injury, and pull out of a fight. This is classic. This is how the whole thing with Joaquin and Sean Brady even started in the first place. Because Joaquin Buckley replaced Sean Brady against Vicente Luque due to staph infection. You know, Sean Brady just came down with another infection against Michael Morales with this whole new excuse. He had a broken rib against Bilal. You know, it's always something. And in my opinion, homie's a bit of a head case. Homie's a bit of a head case. And Ariel asked him, do you regret taking the fight? And it's like, well, it's not taking the fight that's necessarily the issue with Sean. It's the fact that he's a head case. And as soon as a fight gets announced, it's back to what I was explaining earlier. You know, he kind of crashes out. All the pressures with the fight, losing the weight, the opponent, you know, the date, you know, he doesn't really like it that much. And he's been a bit of a princess throughout his UFC career. If you ask me, always fighting the right times, the right opponent. You hear him speak about, I never want to fight in New York again. It's just all these things with Brady all the time. And, you know, a lot of, you know, a real fighter is like, bro, I don't give a fuck where I'm at. It don't matter. But, you know, with Brady, you know, God forbid something happens in the camp. It usually starts to, you know, roll downhill from there. And he eventually pulls out. But now he's not pulling out anymore. Now he's more active once again, because he can't do what he did in the past and be that mental head case and only fight under the perfect circumstances. That's what he's used to. And that's what he loves to do, but he can't do that anymore. Now he's finally subject, you know, to the rest of the American fighters, if you will, because, you know, these foreign fighters, they get given bags by their countries. But this type of shit that Sean Brady's on right now that I'm explaining, you know, this is what Joaquin's been on for years. This is what all the American fighters are essentially on. Right. But somehow, I don't know who's been invested in Brady or I don't know if his wife makes a lot of money, but he's been able to just basically navigate his career like one of the foreign fighters, you know, that fights like once or twice a year and, you know, super like strategic with who he fights and when he fights. Keep in mind, you know, I got to always say it, but keep in mind, you know, Sean Brady was nowhere to be found in December 2024, right? When Ian Gary needed an opponent to fight in Miami. Colby Covington was ducking Ian Gary. Joaquin Buckley was coming off a super active year and a win over Wonder Boy in like November or October. Okay, Sean Brady coming off his win over Gilbert Burns in, I believe, September. So before Joaquin Buckley called out Ian Gary in the post-fight interview, was nowhere to be found in December when Ian Gary needed an opponent. You know who stepped up? Joaquin Numanza Buckley. Mr., you know, anytime, anywhere, my circumstances don't got to be perfect. I'm hungry. I'm active. I got a family too. You feel me? But, you know, that's the lore here. That's why I speak about Sean Brady the way I do, because he's very strategic, or at least he was before he had a kid. Now I'm noticing he's way more active. And, you know, I think there's a reason for that. I do think there's a reason for that. And I don't think that works out good for him. Even turning around this quickly to fight Joaquin, I don't think that this is the ideal world for Sean Brady. He's going to speak on it. you know, like, I don't got time to really like sulk anymore. He might have already done it when he spoke about the Michael Morales loss, but he goes like, you know, I don't really got time to sulk anymore. You know, with the Bilal Muhammad loss, I was down and out for a long time. People thought I might have had a death in the family. But after the, you know, Michael Morales loss, I don't got time to sulk. I got a daughter at home, right? Things are much more real for Sean Brady now. And that's another pressure in its own right. So once again, Mr. Sean Brady, he don't like that pressure. He don't like that pressure now. He's happy it's not 5 rounds. He's happy he doesn't have to sell a fight. I mean, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Joaquin Buckley, put this dude out of his misery already. He hates being a fighter for some reason. But all that needed to be said, and I went on such a long tangent, I forget what exactly sparked it, but it all needed to be said. It all needed to be said. Where are we on this? We're at the 8-minute mark. So yeah, he's speaking about the Michael Morales loss. I think he's about to get into Dana saying the winner of the Michael Morales versus him fight was the #1 contender. So let's get into it. And then he does more excuses.
And I have to fight, you know, like I want to be more active.
You hear
Obviously,
this?
way, because look what, so in my mind, I'm like, I was still one fight away anyway, because look what's going on right now with the division. But yeah, and obviously this is how we get paid, and I have to fight, you know, like I want to be more active. So yeah, it sucked the way that things played out and that the things happened the way that they did. But it is what it is.
Before the fight, the week of the fight, I do believe, Dana was asked if the winner of your fight was getting a title shot. He said yes. And
yeah, but he said he was like sure.
Yeah.
Like, what, like someone asked a question, and he was just like, yeah. What, like he was just getting through the question. So
okay, so you didn't believe it, or like you weren't?
not that I didn't believe it, like, but just the way that Protest knocked out Leon, and then Ian goes out there and beats Bilal. It's like we still don't know who's getting the title shot next. Like, is it Ian? Who? It's not Kamaru now, but for a while we thought it was going to be Kamaru. I think it should be Ian or Morales. Like, it's definitely between those two guys.
Bro would not be saying that had he beat Michael Morales. Bro would not be saying all this had he beat Michael Morales. If he beat Michael Morales, he would have been like, it's me over Ian 100,000%. Michael Morales beats him, and he's like, you know, I think it's Ian next. Dana wasn't for real when he said that. Now, Dana wasn't for real when he said that. But, like, something tells me this dude would have been disingenuous as fuck about that. He would have been saying the exact opposite of what he's saying now had he have won that. And shame on Ariel. Shame on Ariel for that. You know, playing into that little disingenuous comment from Dana, trying to make him live up to that disingenuous comment. Come on, bro. What are you doing? What are you doing bringing that up like that was a serious comment? That was a throwaway comment saying that the winner of Morales versus Brady got a title shot. Straight throwaway comment. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Drop your thoughts. You know, drop your thoughts on this interview right now. It's kind of quiet in the chat. I'll do some Q&A once this is over with. All right, I'll stick around for you boys once this is over with. We'll do some Q&A. But you know, drop some shit in the chat now. Shout out to Tyler Betts. What's poppin', homie? What's poppin', Meat Rocket? AD Kid, what's poppin'? You know, AI2A, I see you in here. But I'm not going to talk about a TV show right now. We can do that once this is over with. But yeah, shout out to all you boys in here. Feed Brady to Gypsy Crusader. Nah, they're putting Brady out of his misery with this Joaquin Buckley matchup. 50-50 on the votes of the poll too. Vote up that poll. And run up the likes on the stream once again. We need 25 in this bitch.
If you look at Ian's record, like, he probably maybe deserves it a little bit more than Morales. But Morales is right there too, coming off beating me. So it's between either one of those guys. But yeah, when Dana said that, I was just like, when they told me after I beat Leon, I was next. And obviously that didn't work out.
I was wondering if, I personally don't think they'll go with Morales in the end. I think they'll go with Ian, but I was wondering.
I do too.
I was wondering if you were rooting for that to make the loss feel a little bit better.
Course.
Okay.
It was like when I lost the
Ariel, you know, I don't know. I feel like, once again, I just feel like Ariel, he's saying, you know, they're not going to go with Morales. They're going to go with Ian. Something tells me Ariel and his disingenuous ass having Sean Brady as his normal guest, he might have advocated for Brady, but he does have Ian on often, so maybe he wouldn't have. Maybe I spoke too soon there.
Bilal, and then he won, and everyone's like, all right, maybe Sean doesn't suck as bad as we thought he did. You always want the guys that you lose to win, you know. And I see Morales like he's going to be a problem for a lot of these guys. He's big, he's strong. He's like I'm a big 70-pounder, and I heard like the weight that he walks around. He's huge for 170, and not just like muscular wise. Like his reach is insane. He's going to be a problem for a lot of these guys, and hopefully one day I get to get my. I'm still trying to get my fight back with Bilal, so I don't know if I'll ever get that one or Morales, but I'm definitely trying to get some get back on these boys eventually. So.
Was he bigger, stronger than you thought he would be? Like when you're in there, he looks like a middleweight.
Yeah, he's huge, but I just didn't. At the end of the day, it just came down to me. I just didn't follow my game plan. Like, and same thing even with all the stuff that transpired before the fight. I just didn't follow my game plan. That's it. That's the reason I lost the fight. I went in there and I didn't do what I practiced for 8 weeks. It was. I'm telling you, Arrow. It's like, it's crazy because me and Joey just Pfeiffer, because he was helping me a lot for that fight. He's like, we're just like, man, like I just didn't get to show what we did, and that's what bothers me the most about the whole thing is I didn't get to go out there and just show how good I am and how hard I trained for that fight, and that's what sucks about the sport. You know, you could do everything right, and you go out there, and it's just not your night.
One thing
I would love to know. I am dying to know what Joaquin has to say about this. I'm dying to know. It could be a lot he has to say. It could be not much he has to say. But I'm dying to know what Joaquin has to say to this. And I'm waiting to see if he responded till after the interview completes.
that I saw some people bringing up, you were wearing, and I don't know if you've done this a lot, like a knee brace on both knees.
Yeah.
Was that something you were dealing with?
So I had like I had a bursa sac in my knee that got infected before the fight. So I had to get drained a couple times. Just like this is just normal stuff.
Okay.
But I wore two of them, so he didn't know which one of my knees was.
Smart.
You know, you see,
Smart.
You gotta use your mind.
Smart.
You gotta use your mind, brother. But yeah, I've never worn them before. But in New Jersey, because most states you can't wear them. Some states you can, some states you can't. It's like the rules. Like when you go to a state, you don't know what the right rules are.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can wear sleeves there. And yeah, I just had like a bursa sac in my knee that had some juicy stuff in it. So they said, "Do you want to wear knee sleeves?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. Why not?"
Okay. But not something you'll wear in the future if you don't have to.
No. I don't wear them. I don't wear them anytime. But yeah, I just had like have you ever had a bursa sac before?
No, I don't think so.
They're just paint like you can get them drained and stuff like that, but it's just like fluid around your knee, or like it comes on like your elbow. So when you wear like a compression sleeve, it just kind of makes it feel a little bit just makes it more comfortable.
What was the immediate aftermath like? Like, how did you deal with the loss? How did you handle it?
Drove.
If nobody knows what bursa is, you got a massive balloon on like the ligament where like the bursa sac essentially like bursa'd, if you will. I don't know the fucking terminology, but I had a homie get it on his elbow one time in football back in the day, and his elbow was like this fucking, it was like a ball, bro, hanging off the side of it. Just, a little context for that injury he went into the fight with. He must have had a big old little sack hanging off of his knee. No diddy. But here he's going to speak about, how he dealt with the loss. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier. So I might have jumped the gun, but, I had to get it off the chest while it was hot.
Home with my daughter, my wife, and my best friend.
How did you handle it?
Drove home with my daughter, my wife, and my best friend, Simon. Had a cheat day, and then got right back to the training on Monday, pretty much. It's a lot different than when I lost to Bilal, because being a dad now, you don't have time to sit around and sulk, like she has to, like my daughter needs to be taken care of. My wife went back to work on Tuesday, and yeah, it's just, I handled it a lot better. Like when I lost to Bilal, it was the first time I've ever lost as an amateur. As a pro, I was devastated. Like, you would have thought that you would have thought I got like the worst news in the world. Like you would have thought the worst of the worst happened to me the way I was walking around. And I was just like sad. And then after this, I think it made it easier for me losing, knowing that everything I did, the way I felt in camp, and then the things that transpired before, like I said, not making excuses, it made it a little bit easier for me to swallow the pill, knowing, hey, I went out there, I gave it everything I had. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me. But the great thing about the sport is the sucky thing, we have to wait a little bit, but I get to go back out there and perform again. And then once I go out there and win another fight and I win in this in May 9th, all will be forgotten. And yeah, winning solves everything. But it was definitely nowhere near as bad as the first time. It's just you really realize like things that, like what matters, and what really matters in the world is your family, your kids, your friends, and stuff like this is all amazing, and I get to live my dream every day. But a lot of people have a lot worse stuff going on in their life than losing a fight. You know, I'm still one of the best fighters in the world. I still believe that I've not even scratched the surface of proving how good I am, and that's what makes me excited every day to come out here and train my ass off. And I'm just excited to go out in front of a relatively home crowd and put on a performance.
Don't worry, Brady. Once you lose to Joaquin on May 9th, you got your whole cushy lifestyle to come back to, your best friends, like everybody you listed, your kids, you know, your wife. You got that whole cushy lifestyle to come back to. On the other side of town, Joaquin Buckley's side of town, this life or death over here. We don't got a cushy life to go back to, motherfucker. This life or death. This must win. This must win. Ain't no cushy life to come back to. Ain't none of this, oh, this what really matters. Fuck no. What matters is the win on May 9th. That's what matters. So don't worry, Sean Brady. Come May 9th, after you take that L to Joaquin, all that stuff will still be there for you. All that stuff will still be there for you. On the other side of town, though, Joaquin Buckley, it's life or death. He don't got nothing waiting for him after the loss. He gotta win. It's must win. There's no option. Losing ain't an option. Losing ain't an option. Too much stakes on the table. Like I said, Sean Brady says he knows what really matters, and it ain't the wins. Joaquin Buckley, it ain't the same. All that matters is the win. That's the only thing that matters. A loss is catastrophic.
Two quick follow-ups on the aftermath. Did you drive home that night?
Hold on. Let me just read out a few chats. Let me just show some love to the streets. David Thien says, I think Buck needs a moment. One more big highlight. Shit, we finna get that highlight come May 9th. Meat Rocket says, do you think Brady beats Buck? Oh, asking Tyler Betts. Well, I'll answer that for Tyler Betts. Tyler Betts says, fuck no. I'm playing. Tyler Betts gives his opinion. He says, I think Brady will look better most of the fight, but Buckley could definitely catch him. Buckley's going to knock his ass out. Hawk, what's poppin', Hawk? Homie made some time today. Hawk says, even Buckley's name mogs Brady's. I just realized it's like starts with a B, ends in a Y, both their names. Tony Sal dropping the Buck emojis, perfect timing. What up, Space Kid? Bro, got the Sean interview. Yeah, Ariel stays getting the Sean interviews, but now we got something to respond to. This is how it's been, though. This is how it's been for a couple years now. You know, Sean Brady, he'd be going on Ariel's platform. Joaquin, he'd be coming on my platform. It's a battle. It's a battle. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's continue. We're getting to the part about Joaquin and Brady's beef. Brady's about to explain his beef with Joaquin. So, you know, shout out to everybody staying locked in. This is the news of the day. There's no other stories after this. So, enjoy.
No,
Okay.
might have a relatively home crowd and put on a performance.
Two quick follow-ups on the aftermath. Did you drive home that night?
No,
Okay.
My daughter was asleep, or else we would have. Dude, another thing, New York. So we, but wherever like that, 15 people with me. So 30 or 40 minutes to the host hotel.
Yeah.
Then we had to drive like 40 minutes. I don't know how people listen. I don't get it.
Greatest city. I think you're just boss.
I wanted to win the fight.
Fool
I
me
wanted
once.
to be there. I would have hung around for you.
Well, I'm curious about.
Apparently, Brady promised to go in studio with Ariel, and he dipped out after the loss. I think that's why Ariel's asking him when he drove home.
The cheat meal, because you don't seem like a guy who has many.
Now Ariel's kind of glazing him about a cheat meal. So let's just skip to the part. Let's skip to the 19-minute part. Here's Sean Brady explaining his beef with Buck. You know, Brady already opened up the door to this on his own platform, and Ariel's going to ask him about it because the clip surfaced. You know, Brady's the one who's opening up the door about the trash talking so far in this fight. The stuff he's bringing up that Joaquin said was years ago. And, yeah, finally, he gets to speak about it after years of Buck living rent-free in his head. So here we go. Tell me I'm wrong, too. Tell me I'm wrong that Buck hasn't been living rent-free in this dude's head. He's going to speak about blocking him after these clips and everything. I thought we were pissed at Buck for not fucking with us anymore. Nah, we're not pissed at Buck. But it's like, obviously the competitor in me was not happy that Mike Perry got the Buck interview first. But, you know, at the end of the day, fighting's a tough game, and I respect, you know, whatever he wants to do. And, you know, we spoke, and he's just it's not really the time for him to do an interview. So, you know, I can accept that. And Miata Boy hasn't been in here in a minute. So the last me and Buck spoke, I told him I'll hit him back in a couple weeks, you know, see if it's better timing. And he said, that's a bet. And I did reach out today for him to come on the stream. It's looking bleak for him coming on today. No response yet. But he did respond to me earlier. So don't think I just be getting ghosted over here. HT, what's poppin'? But yeah, never get it twisted. We were, you know, I was more so popping my shit, letting everybody know, okay, who the top dog is. And that's me. I get all the views. You should come here first before anything else if you want all the views. You know, I got the best topics. Okay, let's continue. No more revisionist history. Okay, that stuff was like 2 weeks ago or like a week ago. But shout out Miata Boy. He's been watching even though he hasn't been in the streams. So shout out.
Like at the gym, Joey getting a chance to fight the former champion, Israel Adesanya, biggest fight of his career, main event next weekend. What's it been like as he prepares for this?
It's been great. I think we don't let it get like, even like when I got the Leon fight, you know, I kind of like compare them to each other.
Yeah.
Huge fights, but you can't let the moment become too big. You just have to do what you've always done to get to this spot. And Joey can punch a hole through a horse. So if he connects on Izzy, it's going to be trouble for Izzy. But it's been cool to see that they both are respectful of each other. There's been no trash talk. So I'm excited as a fan to watch Joey style versus Izzy style. It's going to be a good one.
I saw an interview that you did with Steady Picks, and
Here it is.
That's my podcast.
That's your podcast. Excuse me. Wait.
Everybody lock in now. Here it is. The moment you've all been waiting for.
Yeah,
So our podcast is the Brady Bag Show on Steady Picks network. Yeah, they're like they give out betting advice and stuff like that. So we do our podcast through them.
Okay, and I understand. Yes, of course I know about the podcast. I didn't know that that was the sort of umbrella. So you talked about seeing Buckley at the Apex. The quote is, "We're in Vegas. We're at the Apex. That's where I was doing all my testing. I'm in the front. I was waiting for an Uber. Some loud-ass mother effer is coming out. It's Buckley. He looks over and says, Sean Brady. Prior to this, he said something about me with my staph infection, not washing my ass. He was like, man, why you block me on Instagram? We're about like here, and he's loud as shit, bro. I'm looking at him. I'm like, I don't like all this talking. We're talking for like 5 minutes. He's talking about selling fights. What's going on? Tell us about this story. What's going on here?
So before me and Buckley were ever slated to fight, he was like, he made some, like, I forget when it was. I guess it was when I was supposed to fight Jack Della Maddalena. And
no, it was Vicente. Okay. It was when Joaquin replaced him against Vicente Luque at UFC Atlantic City. And I asked Joaquin how the fight came together, and he said because Sean Brady don't wash his ass, so the UFC called me because Sean Brady came down with staph infection. We will play the clip, but it wasn't the JDM fight. It was the Vicente Luque pullout.
I pulled out because I had a staph infection. So I couldn't fight.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
He made some post about me, like saying I don't wash my ass, like just saying some shit.
Hang on. Let's just play it. Let's just play it. We got it ready. We got it locked and loaded. Okay, Joaquin Buckley on why UFC called him to fight Vicente Luque at UFC Atlantic City because Sean Brady don't wash his ass. Come on, boys. Who doesn't like us? Nobody comes up with shit like me and Joaquin. Okay, yes, Joaquin says it, but I put it all together. Okay? I put it all together with the creativity side. Okay? We got my high school homie in real life crying, laughing at this. Shout out Brandon Bagani saying got staph infection because he don't wash his ass. Okay? I got the homies in real life fucking responding to this. Okay, but let's watch it.
Because with Vicente Luque, he had to pull out with Ian Gary. We called that. 2 fights. I'm looking on it. Ian Gary versus Vicente Luque and Wonder Boy versus Shavkat. So
okay.
I will replace any one of those guys who will fall out. They didn't call me up. So they rebooked it with Sean Brady, who also pulls out of every fight because he don't wash his ass because of staph infection. So they was like, shit, man, we ain't got no other choice, man. Who can we call? And shit, they called on me. So, now I get to show them why I'm that guy. And then plus it's a fun matchup, period. Me and Jeff Neal, we got the same style. And you seen what Jeff Neal did to Vicente.
Okay, so, this is the lore right here. And in my opinion, this might be one of my favorite Joaquin Buckley interviews of all time. If there's, what we like to call demon time on this channel, okay, this is one of the most demon times Joaquin Buckley ever been on. Secluded in Michigan before he moved back home to STL. In Michigan in a little, I don't know, maybe studio type house living by himself, starved out of fights. He's speaking about it right here. The UFC said, who else do we call? He got overlooked twice, right? If you just paid attention to this clip, in a previous interview, okay, he said, I'm going to Michigan, I'm training, I'm staying ready, right? Boom, the fight falls out, they call somebody else, they don't call him. Then the fight falls through again, and then they call him. So he was really on demon time. He was like the third choice. You feel me? After he already put it out there that they should have called him the first time. But they didn't call him the first time. The replacement pulled out in Sean Brady, and so they were forced to call him. But this interview, I just have to say, was one of the best ones. One of the best ones. When he still had the nap, too. All right. So going back to the Sean Brady interview, though, this is the context of the he don't wash his ass. That's what pissed him off. That little throwaway comment. Pissed him off.
And he just talks too much. So I blocked him on Instagram. I can block whoever I want. It's my life. It's my Instagram. So I blocked him because whoever talks too much. So I blocked him on Instagram. I can block whoever I want. It's
soft.
My life. It's my Instagram. So I blocked him because I don't feel like hearing that shit. And then we seen each other. He was like, why you block me? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, I don't do all this social media back and forth shit. And at this time, I just got booked with Gilbert. I was like, we're not fighting each other. I was like, I have a fight. And we talked for 5 minutes while my coach was standing behind me. We were waiting for our Uber because Joey was fighting and I was there doing pre-camp testing shit. And so we literally talked for 5 minutes. The PI has video footage of it. And he was just trying to kind of be funny. And I was just not really being funny. I just don't think he's a funny dude. I think he talks too much. But then he did an interview afterwards saying he seen me, I didn't say anything. He almost felt like he was bullying me. So I'm like, first off, you ain't bullying me. No, I don't care who you are in this world. If you can beat me up, whatever, you're not just going to talk to me crazy or bully me. So he was just bullshitting and just lying. Then he said if you see me on the streets, he would run, he would punk me on the streets or some nut ass shit. Bro, I'm from Philly. You're not just running up on me I'm some bitch. So that's when I finally, because before I would never even respond to half the shit he would say because he just says shit that says shit. So now, like, all right, now we're fighting each other. Now I will address you. Like, brother, you didn't punk nobody. You weren't talking crazy when you see me in person. And now we get to fight, and now we get to settle it. So we will see in 7.5 weeks what the fuck is up.
Okay. Okay.
So, you know, the interview clip that he's referring to, okay, it's right here. It's right here. We got the clip right here. This had to have popped up on his YouTube because, like I said, this clip never left YouTube. Okay, this clip never left YouTube. So it definitely came across his YouTube recommendations. And here's the title. Sean Brady or Joaquin Buckley on bullying Sean Brady at the UFC PI during International Fight Week. Quote, he was like a kid, part 4. Okay, this is why I chop up the interviews like I do, especially with Joaquin, because, you know, I always knew that this stuff would come back. And look at it. We're making headlines on Ariel Helwani. Now we're not going to get the name drop, right? Because we not industry, right? We don't be sucking people off, so we don't get the name drops. But that's okay. You know, that's all right. We know where the clips originated from. We know we're making news. We making headlines. We know we coming across Sean Brady's recommendations on YouTube. And, you know, they speaking about us, but they not dropping the name. That's fine. Totally fine. Really nothing personal. But I'm just saying this is why I clipped this stuff up, because I knew it was going to come back. So let's play the clip, because I kind of forget. You know, I kind of forget how this whole thing went down. So let's listen to it.
Sean Brady and Wonder Boy, right? Anything go on there?
With Sean Brady and Wonder Boy? All right, so Sean Brady, funny enough. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because I did run into Sean Brady too, funny ass. Sean Brady was literally like a kid, bro. Like he was like, bro, stop bullying me. Like I was like, bro, unblock me off of you, because we met each other at the PI. So before I seen Sean Brady, I seen Joe Pfeiffer, you know.
Sorry to pause it, but I just want to say I spoke about that one interview when Buck was on Demon Time as one of the best ones. Arguably, in my humble opinion, this one and that one are the top 2 best Buckley interviews I've ever done. In my humble opinion, for those interested in the Buck lore, this one and that one are the best 2, in my opinion, we've ever done. And Buck was actively getting drug tested by USADA here. So that's what this whole, you know, shirt up is about. But let's hear him speak about, you know, his run-in with Sean Brady at the PI that Brady calls cap on.
And I talked to Joe, you know, I was like, where your boy at? Where's Sean at? He's like, man, he out there, man. He out there in the by the front desk. I said, bet. So I popped up on him, and I seen Sean Brady. He's literally looking down and shit. And this is the funny part, right? He had like a bandage on his eye like Nelly. So, you know, I ended up joking. I'm like, okay, bro, you repping STL, huh? But it looked like he had staff.
Oh,
Right, like right underneath his eye. I'm like, boy, you gotta clear that shit up. So he getting upset, he getting mad and shit like that. He was like, man, why you always fuck with me and shit? I'm just like, man, as fighters, this is what we do. This is, you know, at the end of the day, I'll be looking for a fight. You know, if you're a fighter, then let's get down. He's like, but at the end of the day, man, that's just not how I get down. You know, if we gonna run it, we just gonna run it. You know, but I don't like all that shit talking back and forth. I'm like, come on, man. This is how we promote, man. This is how we eat. So we literally going back and forth and all this other shit. And somebody literally in the background, I can't remember his name, but I think he a fighter in the UFC as well. But he was like, Buck, man, just leave him alone. I was like, damn, bro, they really trying to make me a bully out here. But yeah, Sean literally didn't want no issues with me whatsoever. It's kind of crazy. Like I said, I felt like I was like literally back in high school fucking with some kid, bro, in the cafeteria. Sad.
all right. And then with Sean Brady, I figured out bringing this up on the podcast because
This was some random lore. This is about Andre Petrosky. It means nothing, so we're not going to give Andre Petrosky the shine. But this was just me speaking about how basically I was talking to Joaquin, and I was like, bro, like Sean Brady's team does not like how much I be fucking with you. That's what I was basically telling Joaquin here. And yeah, there wasn't much about it, but that was the golden part right there. What Joaquin just said, you know, it felt like he was in the cafeteria with some kid in high school, you know, didn't want no smoke. Tony South saying, leave Sean Brady alone. Shout out to Brady. I mean, hey, Brady opened this door. And like I said to start this off, shout out to Sean Brady for opening the door. right? Shout out to Brady for opening the door, talking his mess, you know, building up the fight. But, you know, now we building it up. Now we building it up. We pulling out all the receipts. Sean Brady's bringing up the receipts. I'm pulling them up. I'm pulling them up. Sean Brady's speaking about them, and I'm showing you exactly where they came from. Showing you exactly where they came from. So we're almost done here, and then I'll turn the stream over to the boys in the chat. How about that? All right, run up the likes for me one more time. I see that MMA Joey's still live, so shout out to everybody who left his stream and came over here. There's like, I think one person told me they were just in his stream talking shit to him. Okay, let's just continue this. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this Brady lore. This was like a two-part interview.
His last performance was a big one against Kamaru. He hasn't fought since June of last year.
Yeah.
There was a lot riding on that one, and it obviously didn't work out. What did you think of how he fought in that one?
Yeah, I mean, Kamaru's a vet. Like, Kamaru knows what he's doing. Kamaru went out there and fought a very smart fight. And listen, Buckley, outside of the things he does on social media, he's an amazing fighter. Super athletic, super explosive, crazy knockout power, super flashy. So he does awesome stuff. And yeah, so he's a great fighter, and I'm taking him as serious as I've ever taken any fighter. I'm training my ass off because I know what he brings to the cage. But yeah, I mean, just like my last performance, I don't think that was his best. I don't think my last was my best. So the good thing is we get to go out there and we get to settle it.
So you mentioned earlier you think there's a bit of a logjam at 170, and it sounds like you think...
I will say, you know, shout out to Brady for showing respect. There is one thing you can't deny, and even Brady knows it. Even Brady knows it, and I think Brady would love to discredit a guy like Joaquin. I don't even think he's necessarily... No offense, Brady. No offense. This is probably the most insulting thing I feel like I will say about you all day. But I don't know if Brady's necessarily intelligent enough to, like, know better than to not down his opponent's skills going into a fight. Something tells me he would be down to do that. But he, especially with the guy who he lacks respect for in Joaquin Buckley. I mean, he barely respects Buckley, but he does think he's a great fighter. But he, like, you know, how do I put this? He doesn't respect Buckley as a person, right? But he respects him as a fighter. And I think, you know, shout out to Brady, because if you don't fuck with Buckley as a person, I could see that clouding up your judgment on him and getting it twisted that he's a bad fighter too. But that's not the case. You know, Buckley is a great fighter, and not even Sean Brady can deny it. You know, even though Sean Brady doesn't like him as a person, he recognizes the greatness as a fighter. Even he can't deny it. So shout out to Brady. You know, he's not wrong. Joaquin is a great fighter, and he's going to show why come May 9th. He's going to show why come May 9th. All that trash talk and all of that glazing people have been doing for Brady for years. Just remember all of that when Joaquin gets the win, and all that dissing they've been doing on Buck. You know, I don't want to hear no double standards. I don't want to hear no goalposts get moved after May 9th, after Joaquin gets the job done. Getting another highlight reel finish on the resume against the great, the talented Sean Brady. Let's just wrap this up, and then, you know, I'll turn it over to the chat.
Ian should get the Islam fight. Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think he can beat him?
No. And I know.
Okay, we don't really care. He doesn't think Ian could beat Islam. My question would be, though.
People are going to say, like, I'm a hater of.
My question would be, like, so to speak, my question would be, what's your guys' thoughts on, like, Islam as the champion? You know, since winning the belt from JDM, they couldn't make the UFC White House fight for him. They couldn't make a fight happen for him after he beat JDM because he said he didn't have enough time for a camp. Like, what's your thoughts on Islam as a champ right now? Is he moving too slow? Is he okay? Is he allowed to be taking this time off? Like, you know, what's your thoughts on Islam as the champion? Right, because he is part of the reason why the division's log jammed. The guys stepped aside to let Islam come up and vie for his or compete for his second title, right? So I would like to see, you know, what these guys think about Islam now that they let him do that. Now he's the champion. You know, you happy with that, or are you kind of annoyed with the log jam, with the lack of clarity in the division? That's what I would say. My name is Slim Shady. What's poppin', America First? Good to see you in here. Brandon loves Buck. You already know. You already know. Like Miata Boy said earlier, you know, I've been glazing Buck since before it was cool. I've been glazing Buck since before it was cool. Hold on. Yeah, I've been glazing Buck since before it was cool. Miata Boy keeps dropping hashtag slinging baby oil. Brady called Buck the word. Did he? Bro, Buckley has no wrestling. Brady isn't really an easy fight for him. Look what old Usman just did to him. You guys act like Brady would beat Usman. You know, I don't think Brady would beat Usman. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. I don't think Brady's beating Usman. You guys are tripping, bro. Like, so what that Usman beat Joaquin? The great Usman, one of the best welterweights of all time. And Joaquin does have wrestling. I mean, he showed it in the 5th round. Okay. Brady low-key a quitter. Useless. I was saying that earlier. At least I was calling it into question. I said that the standing TKO over Bilal kind of sus. You feel me? He didn't go out. The knockout against Morales kind of sus, especially when we find out that he claims he wasn't in the right headspace going into the fight. Kind of sus, bro. Kind of sus. Now I look at that knockout a bit different and question whether or not Brady just took a dive. Are we allowed to drop video suggestions? Yeah, you can, but like if you want a technique breakdown, I'm not really your guy for a technique breakdown. You feel me? But yeah, what video are you thinking of? I would love to hear a suggestion. And then the claims of Buckley has no wrestling. He does have wrestling. He showed it in the 5th round against Usman, arguably the most important round. Guess who didn't do that in their fight? JDM didn't show that against Islam. JDM didn't come back in the 5th round and put it on Islam. So I think Joaquin showed a lot of promise. I don't know why. I don't know why his grappling was shit in that fight. But just so people know about Joaquin, bro was a wrestler in high school all 4 years and the pinnacle of his career, essentially. Okay, now if you know wrestling, you understand that this is not easy in its own right. But he made it to the state tournament. You feel me? And I'm pretty sure you got a place at Masters and CIF, okay? Or maybe it's different. CIF is over here, okay? But whatever, there's two postseason tournaments you got to get through to make it to the state tournament. He's from the Midwest. He's from, you know, one of the best wrestling regions in the world. The Midwest, we were speaking about this last night on stream. You know, the Midwest, they have the best wrestlers. They have the best boxers of all time. Joaquin Buckley made it to the state tournament in high school. He's not a shit wrestler. I'm not saying that, oh my God, he's amazing, but I'm saying he's got pretty fucking good wrestling to the point where he placed at 2 postseason tournaments in high school and made it to the state tournament. That is no easy feat, especially in the Midwest. So 4 years of high school wrestling, and then he goes ahead and he dives into boxing. You know, his grappling should be better than he displays in the fights. I will give you guys that constructive criticism. You know, based off what I've heard and know about Joaquin, you know, he should show more of that. Right? But again, he pulled it out. He showed you guys that he does possess it in the 5th round of that fight. Go back and watch it against Usman. Why he didn't do it earlier on? I mean, we did ask him about it in the previous interview. He says he underestimated Usman in the lead up to the camp. He wasn't ready for it. You know, that's honest. That ain't no excuse. That ain't no excuse. He said, shit, I wasn't ready. Shit, I didn't prepare myself. Shit, I'll admit it. You know, that ain't no excuse. Maybe people could see that as an excuse in hindsight. Oh, you want me to watch a video? I'm probably not going to watch another video. Which video is it, you retarded? You're retarded. What video is it? Is that an excuse? Buckley saying that he underestimated Usman? Is that an excuse? Someone let me know what you guys think. Is that an excuse or not? America First says Buck will bull rush Brady and end it quick, I think. Oof. America First rocking with Buck? Meat Rocket says, I don't think Brady beats Usman, but Buck just doesn't have any wrestling. He does, though. I just explained that. He even took down Pat Downey in their fucking freestyle match. People forget. Buck won't last 5 rounds with an elite opponent guaranteed. Bro, I mean, I could see Joaquin knocking out guys like Ian Gary. Then what would people say? Carlos Prates. Then what would people say? It's crazy that people glaze up Prates, but they don't glaze up Buck. Lock those two in the cage. Yuri says, Lost Soul Return, drop a diss track about Joe Rogan. You should listen to it not on stream, though, because he says inappropriate stuff. Okay, I got you. Let me pull it up in my tab now. I'm not going to watch it on stream, but I like this stuff. I like some of those roast videos. What's his name? Lost Soul Returned. And no response from Joaquin, so homie playing hard to get right now. No, did he? This is the guy? I'll check it out. Actually, I don't know if I will. I don't really watch this guy's content at all. Who is this dude? I can't believe this dude's got people recommending his content to me right now. Out of the 32 views he got on the diss track of Joe Rogan, one of them is recommending it to me as we speak. Yes, that's him. Got you. Yuri has to be Eagle MMA. Well, I probably won't listen to the diss track. I was not familiar with this stuff. I'm being hit by a curveball right now. First off, I thought Yuri was trying to recommend me make a video, like react to a certain topic. Then I thought he wanted me to react to a video. Then I thought he wanted me to react to like a video in the Joe Rogan space, but it's a diss track. So I'm all lost. I'm out of sorts with this one. Shout out to You Retarded though. You Retarded really knocked me off my I was out of sorts with that one, Yuri. I was not expecting anything like that. All of a sudden I found myself in left field. You feel me? I need to take it's probably a blessing in disguise that today's stream is a bit less newsy and I'm probably going to be a bit shorter because I need to get like 12 hours of sleep tonight. I feel like I need 12 hours of sleep. No worries, Yuri. I'm not tripping about it. I'm not tripping. Holy shit, I never thought Lost Soul would ever get attention by a bigger channel. I didn't even know who he was, but shout out to Lost Soul, whatever. He got a little bit of showtime on the show today. You feel me? I feel you, Tony Sal. I feel you. All right, well, if that's all, I actually do have a funny clip I wanted to show you guys. I got a funny clip for you guys. Not much though, Movsar Evloev, he arrived in London today, so got straight to work. As far as with yeah, he got to work, touchdown in London and then instantly did his media shoots, started answering questions on media day. Joe Rogan, I'm just going to read it to you, but Joe Rogan explains why he thinks UFC fighters deserve to be paid more. The way I run my comedy club, the comedians make 80% of the money because I feel like that's who you're paying to see. We make plenty of money off of, tickets and alcohol sales, etc. 20% of it. And then, you know, what's funny is that Joe did this, right? Joe stuck up for the fighters. And then I'll read this other caption to you. But, you know, essentially, then Poirier said fighters don't have a right to complain about money after they sign the contract. So, once again, perfect example of like, you know, somebody who's not a fighter kind of complaining on behalf of the fighters. And then the fighter opens his mouth and it's like, oh God, I wish you didn't even speak. You know, please quiet down before you kill the point, you know, because Poirier, he not sticking up for the fighters. He ignoring the concept, you know, that fighters are forced to sign these contracts whether they like it or not, bro. I can't understand how Poirier is not understanding that concept, but you know, they don't have a right to complain about money after they sign the contract, bro. You think one of these guys just trying to get into the UFC is ever going to be heard about, or article is ever going to be written about him if he just, you know, says no to the money? No, he's going to be gone out the UFC and never going to be heard from again. There's no, I mean, so of course he'd be better off signing the contract and then complaining. Like quite literally, he would be better off signing the contract and then complaining. Can't believe Poirier, you know, he didn't stick up for fighters, but whatever. That's fine. But, you know, while we're on it, you know, it's like Colby exposes UFC for forcing fighters to take bad fights and freezing them if they don't comply. You don't get a choice. They will freeze you out if you don't take their fights. And people are going to say, but do you think you're the best in the world? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Not necessarily. All right. Because a lot of times a guy on his way, let's give you guys the example. Why do you think Nate Diaz signed to fight Hamzat? Now, luckily for Nate, Hamzat's also a head case on the level of a Sean Brady and has something go wrong with him every single camp out of the stresses of fucking, you know, dealing with it all. So Hamzat pulled out, especially because, you know, you bring Nate Diaz into the conversation. Oh my goodness gracious. Head case goes up times 10 for Hamzat. But my point in saying that is people are going to say, but you think you're the best fighter in the world, you should fight anyone, right? Like this, you signed a contract to fight anyone for a set price, right? Things like this. Let me try to find another one. Along those lines, though. Along those lines. And you know, I'm just here to say that while that is true at a certain point in your career, there's another stage of the career that, you know, when you're over the hill and the UFC tries to feed a Nate Diaz to Hamzat Chimaev, okay, that's not cool. But that's what Colby's talking about. That's the example. Okay, people always want to take it to the example that favors the UFC, but it's not just a blanket statement, bro. Colby's not saying that, you know, the fighters who are in their prime should be strategic. He's saying like the UFC forces guys like Nate Diaz, okay, to finish out his contract by fighting a Hamzat, or he's going to be froze up in that deal for fucking ever. So that's kind of the conversation with that. That's kind of the conversation. The example is more so UFC giving Nate Diaz to Hamzat, bro. For Nate Diaz's very last fight on his contract. Then Nate Diaz beat the system and got to fight Tony Ferguson because Hamzat couldn't make 170. And then he fucking finished Tony Ferguson and he left the promotion on a high note, you know. Beat the game. First one to really ever do it. One of the first ones to really ever beat the game. John Jones could have been it, but he's so sorry and sad. You know, he's messing up the optics of that. But John Jones kind of was another one. But that is the example, boys. And that's not cool. That's not cool. The UFC forcing a Nate to fight Hamzat, and if Nate says no, then, like, you know, we're just going to, like, fuck you over. Like, that's not cool, bro. That's not cool. The fighters deserve more respect than that. Especially a guy like Nate Diaz, been in there for, like, multiple decades. Like, definitely deserves more respect. Built up a title, the BMF belt. Deserves more respect. We're not going to play the clip, but it's just, like, the strong-arming shit ain't cool. Tony says, yep, Nate beat Hamzat mentally. Yep. Tyler Best says Poirier got one foot in the octagon still. Poirier is struggling with retirement. You could tell. Space Kid says, I low-key feel like he'll get KO'd like Neil, unfortunately. Protez reach is crazy. Who are you talking about, Space Kid? You're either way rewinded in the stream or I'm missing something about Protez knocking out. Who would Protez knock out? Are you referring to when I said that Joaquin would beat Protez? America First says Colby is 100% correct. UFC fighters should get some kind of royalties from their likeness being used on video games. I saw somebody trolling Colby saying, homie's realizing in real time his character doesn't get used. Bro, I'm 5 minutes late. No worries, Space Kid. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you guys. This was just funny as fuck, though. I just found it super funny. I don't know why. Okay, but I did find this super funny. Clavicular went on Channel 5. You know, I think his name is Andrew Callahan, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me if I don't remember that dude's name, the interviewer. But Callahan essentially told Clavicular that the looks maxer, Clavicular is the looks maxer, the face for the looks maxing community. If you know ball, you know ball. If you don't know ball, shit, you got to find out. But Clavicular doing an interview with Callahan on Channel 5 about looks maxing, and then Callahan tells him, you know, when I wake up in the morning, like I don't looks max whatsoever. In my normal daily life, I never looks max. And then Clavicular's like, okay, well, if you're gonna be disingenuous, then there's no point in doing this interview. And I just found this hilarious on both parts. I found it hilarious that Channel 5 is like, you know, I really don't try to looks max at all and just, you know, trolling Clavicular with that. But also he kind of doesn't really look like he cares about his opinion or his opinion. Oh my God, appearance. And then Clavicular, he's like, you know, there is a side to it where it's like, okay, if you're going to be disingenuous, let's not do it. But then there's like, I don't know, my trolling side to it where I'm like making fun of Clavicular because I want to believe it's like Clavicular thinks, shit, if you don't like looks maxing, if you don't do it, then you're not even worth my time. I can't even talk to you. There's no point in talking to you. If you don't align with my views on looks maxing, then shit, we can't even talk. You don't looks max, we can't even talk. But that's, you know, my satire. But, you know, I just found this funny on several fronts, so I figured I would play it.
So when you wake up every single morning and you take a look in the mirror, you're 100% satisfied with every single thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, more or less.
It's like, yeah, all right, I can't talk to you. Goodbye. I'm trolling, but like, I don't know. There's definitely a comedy skit that could be made out of this, and I think I'm onto it. Like what I'm kind of explaining is like the South Park version of this reenactment. Maybe I've been watching too much South Park because that's what I think it is. I think I'm already imagining like the South Park episode, like the troll in this. You know? So you mean to tell me you wake up every morning and you don't try to looks max? Yes, I don't try to looks max. Okay, we're done here.
Okay, dude. All right. Well, I guess that's just, if you want to be completely disingenuous, that's fine with me. I guess there's just no point to continue.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Telling you what to.
No point in continuing. You don't look smack shit. We can't even talk. Okay, shout out to everybody in the chat though. That's pretty much the stream, boys. That is pretty much the stream. Damn, I didn't realize we've been popping in here. We've had quite a few people in here. I didn't even know. Did not even know we were up at around 70 people in here a couple minutes ago. Shout out to everybody tuning into the stream. Looks maxing. Shit, looks maxing, in my opinion, eat healthy, get some sunlight, you know. I think the best thing that Clavicular says is that lean is law shit. You know, you guys should be trying to lean out. If you want a baddie, you gotta lean out. You know, lean is law. So shout out to Clavicular and the looks maxing community. Brian C says, sorry, I missed the stream, busy working. No worries, homeboy. It's all good. It's all good. It was pretty decent though. I think it was a good stream. You boys can let me know what you thought about it. Space Kid says stream's been getting cut short lately. Shit. Because we're going live every day, even on the days where there's no news. Like today's one of those days. I mainly was coming on for this one interview, just to react to this one interview. That's the main reason why I came live today. There's nothing else to talk about, unfortunately, you know. But you know what? I'll give you guys a little bit more time. Let me take a piss, and then I'll give you guys a bit more time. If you guys can keep me in here, you know, the stream will end shortly. If the chat don't got nothing to say to me when I come back, okay, well then the stream is gonna end in probably like fucking 10 minutes. So you boys, I'm gonna take a piss and come back. But if you guys want me live, then shit, drop some shit in the chat. Q&A time, okay? All right, boys. All right, boys. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? I mean, what's the best take we got? I mean, Kevin from Chicago last night, he had a solid take, right? He spoke about the downfall of the UFC. Ari Emanuel's to blame. If I were to ask you boys, right, what's your best take? You know, what's the opinion you got about MMA right now in the UFC? You know, combat sports. It could be boxing. What's your opinion? What's the pressing thought on your mind? The biggest one. That's what I be coming on here every day to do for you boys. Okay, today it was Sean Brady. Yesterday we didn't have much at all. I guess I'll start reading some. Q&A time? Yeah. Except we don't got no fucking questions. We got a lot of for reals and LFGs and sups. You know, but shout out to the boys having a conversation. Yeah, there's no question to even answer. React to Gene Silva news. Okay. I mean, so let's just scroll X then, shall we? Shall we just scroll X? Gene Silva claiming he's gonna he's flying to London to sign the contract. I saw the news. Oh, Devin Haney says I want Daniel Cormier to teach me to wrestle. That's kind of dope. Shout out to Haney for showing some love. Usually the boxers always hate on MMA fighters. Like, bro, honestly, I respect that a lot from Devin. That's a W for Devin. Pisses me off how like boxers should show UFC fighters that respect. They should give it up to them and be like, yeah, you know, this dude would maul me. I'd love to learn something from him. UFC fighters would love to learn something from boxers too. But you know, Shara versus Michelle Pereira. Cool. Whitaker going to light heavyweight. We've heard like 3 different reports about this in the last 2 months, so cool. Gene Silva says he's flying to London to watch Movsar Evloev versus Lerone Murphy and will sign a contract to fight Alexander Volkanovski afterward. Quote, we're heading out on this trip invited by Hunter and Dana to watch the fight between Evloev and Murphy up close and to sign the contract for the belt. It's going to be the biggest promotion people have ever seen in history when that contract for the belt gets signed because I'm going to sell this fight. After that boring fight, Evloev versus Murphy, I'm going to go up there and have both of them their termination. Does he just be saying anything or what? Like, how, what? Loses to Diego Lopez, comes back. Loses to Diego, comes back, beats Arnold, and, you know, he's just supposed to have a title shot. He's going to walk himself right back into a title shot. Like, what? What is going on? That was my thought. You know, I don't believe it. I'm calling cap. I'm calling cap. Okay, so I'm seeing buyer seller says cheap asses can't pay for a super fight. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, buddy says UFC is just bread and circus, but it's the best bread and circus because at least it's some real shit. Yeah, I can agree. It just, you know, the thing that sucks is we're not getting the fights made that we want made. That's the shitty part to it. But all right, you know, Joaquin didn't get back to me. Stream is quiet. Stream is quiet. The boys don't got nothing to say. Soda Pop says, yo, Jacob, Soda Pop, what's poppin'? I'm about to get off, homie, but, you know, I'm trying to say, man, you guys want to keep me in here. Give me something to, you know, give me a question. I'm literally asking you guys for a Q&A time, and no one's obliging, and that's fine. I would have been off already, but I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to do the homie Space Kid right. He said stream's been getting cut short. I said, shit, I'll give you guys some more time. Damn, Soda Pop says I asked Buck about some tickets and he said he'll try to make some moves and get back to me. Shit, see how much of a real one Buck is? Soda Pop don't even got to go through me. He'll straight respond to Soda Pop. That's dope, Soda Pop. I think, you know, well, hopefully he can make those moves and get you those tickets. But that's real for Joaquin to be willing to do that and responding to you like that after, you know, it's been a minute since you guys talked. Soda Pop, also, I was going to say, I reached out to Joaquin today. I sent him some stuff about the Sean Brady, Ariel Helwani interview, and he had something to say, and I was going to share it with everybody, but nah, I think we're going to operate under the guise of Mystique until Joaquin's ready to pop out. You guys won't be hearing anything, not even through me. But Joaquin did have something to say about the Brady, you know, response on Ariel's interview today. But I won't be telling you guys. You'll hear from Joaquin, you know, whatever he wants you guys to know. We're gonna lean into the exclusivity for now. Joaquin, he on demon time. He not popping out for nothing. Not even fucking me, which is crazy work. You know, I literally thought I was the exception. Space Kid says, what's poppin' with Francis? I think that's what WSP means. What's poppin'? Well, Francis is gonna fight in MVP, aka DEI Promotions, as the co-main event. That's what Francis is up to. I'm over the UFC. Their beef with Francis. So, you know, they should mend the fences and give the fans the fights they want to see. You know, stop letting their beefs get in the way of things. Facts, Dana doesn't give a fuck about entertainment. Yeah. Our entertainment, yeah. Who wins in a fight, Joe Rogan or Bryce Mitchell? Bryce Mitchell would kill Joe Rogan. Did you ever think Sean Brady was the best welterweight in the world at one point? His grappling made me think so. Fuck no. Fuck no to Sean. I never thought Sean Brady was the best welterweight in the world. But this is my thing. I know a lot of people have been high on Sean Brady, and I just want everybody to keep that same energy for Joaquin Buckley when he beats Sean Brady. Okay, this is no shade to Deshaun, but this is just making my point. You know, Deshaun openly admitting his grappling made me think Brady was one of the best welterweights in the world. Or no, Deshaun says Sean Brady made him think he was the best welterweight in the world at one point because his grappling made him think that. Okay, I want to see that same respect for Joaquin Buckley when he beats Sean Brady. I know you might not think Brady's the best welterweight in the world anymore, you know, coming off that loss. But I want you guys to show Joaquin that same respect because I have a feeling the goalpost is going to get moved again. You know, all of a sudden, Brady's going to be this washed guy. You know, okay, whatever. Bilal knocked him out. That's what he should have done. Okay? But I see this shit right here, and I know that's how people have been talking about Brady. People have been high on Brady and his grappling for a long time. So Joaquin walks through that, you know, don't be moving no goalpost. Because now people, you know, that's the thing, right? Joaquin loses to Usman, and now it's like, oh, yeah, Usman sucks. Like, come on, bro. Usman probably beats Brady. And we all just acknowledged that in the chat earlier. But people are like, how's Joaquin going to beat Brady? He lost to Usman. And then you guys turn around and you're like, well, yeah, I do think Usman might beat Brady. I don't like it. And it's nothing against Deshaun. It's actually, you know, shout out to Deshaun. Sodapot goes, I only saw Brady saying he took a pay cut to fight at 328, so I'm guessing Buck did too, which is sad. I actually didn't see Brady saying he took a pay cut, but what does a pay cut mean? They're saying, oh, we want to pay you less money to take the fight than what you're contractually obligated? Like, what does that even mean? Buck probably didn't even negotiate because he's turned down 2 fights since the Usman one anyway. So he was in no room to negotiate. The fight would have gone to someone else. Francis is getting rich. That's what he's doing. Yeah, and that's chill. That's fine. But it's just like, there's 2 things can be true. He's getting rich, but no one gives a fuck about what he's up to. No one gives a fuck about his legacy really anymore. And, you know, he has 0 relevance. But he does have money, and that's what he exchanged it for, right? He exchanged his relevance for money. But a lot of people want to make it so that he's relevant and he has money, and he's not relevant right now. When is the Buck fight? Question mark. May 9th. So boss says, hey, I literally told Buck that Brady is going to quit once he feels Buck's power and realizes he can't take him down. That's my official pick. Yeah, bro. I mean, come on, man. Come on. I'm keeping my cards close to my chest, Soda Pop. I'm actually, you know, I be talking my shit, but you got to catch me at the right moment. You know, I'm actually trying to refrain from speaking a lot about the Buck Brady fight just because, you know, on the night of, it'll all show. It'll all show. I think Brady is going to be curling up and running, bro. I'm being 1,000%. Buck going to be firing off kicks at him and ripping his body. It's going to be a crazy beatdown, in my opinion. I think so. I think it's going to be like Floyd Mayweather versus Arturo Gotti. Okay, if anybody knows Mayweather versus Gotti, that beatdown was personal. And I think, you know, on the night of, bro, Joaquin, I mean, he's going to kill this dude. All I can say, you know, tap in May 9th and find out. When does the goalpost ever not move, says Space Kid? Oh, man. Oh, man. I guess when JDM fought. When JDM fought. Shit, when Brady beat Leon, no goalpost was moved there. Shit, don't get me started and say when the white boys win, okay? Don't get me started and say when the white boys win, no goalpost gets moved. I could be onto something or I could be tripping. I'll admit the jury's still out. But shout out to all the white boys. You know it's all love. I'm a light-skinned boy myself. And I am of white descent. So, I mean, I'm allowed to say it, aren't I? Lord of the Pie says, are we doing it live, boys? Are we doing what live? This is a live stream, Lord of the Pies. Usman has about 3 fights left in him if he wins his next fight. 3 fights is generous. He got like 2, bro. Yeah, they give him less money since it's not a main event. That's what Brady said. Interesting. Interesting. I didn't know that because I've heard this from like guys like Sean O'Malley, where he was like, nah, I'm down to not headline the card because I don't get paid anymore. I've heard a lot of fighters claim that like they don't get paid more for main events. It's about what the contract is. And they essentially don't want to fight main events until they sign that contract. That's a main event contract, if that makes sense. So that's kind of odd. That's kind of odd. Still not sure whether or not I believe that. But I guess, you know, I'll have Joaquin on and I can ask him. So I'll get to the bottom of that one. But yeah, you know, Sean O'Malley was one of those guys where he was like, no, I'm okay with not being the main event because I haven't signed a contract that's, you know, generating main event type money yet. So I don't want to go up and fight an extra 2 rounds and do all that extra work for no extra money. So I'll ask Joaquin about that. That's a great question. Let me actually write that down. I think Brady will get bucked down if no knees Usman can. I think Usman has knees and he's a bit of a troll. And I know Brady's not as good of a wrestler as Usman. And I know Joaquin's been a better wrestler than he was the night that he fought Usman. You know, he competed in a RAF against Pat Downey. He locked in for a little bit on a pure wrestling rule set, right? Gotta imagine Buck leveled up from that. But shout out to Tyler Betts. Soda Pop says, people forget, man, Buck's grappling defense was always so good versus Usman. It was a bad night, I'm convinced. There we go. Oh, shit, I just got a text message. And Joaquin loved it. I mean, shit, we in real time. Is Joaquin going to join the Discord? Is Joaquin going to join the Discord? No pressure, big dog, but you know we would love to hear from you. Shit, we see the bubbles. We see the bubbles. Let's see what Buck has to say. Okay, in real time, as we're about to start winding down from the stream, let's see what Buck got to say. Speak of the devil. Speak of the godly man. Shit, we won't put that on Buck. Speak of the godly man himself. Speak of the blessed man himself. Yeah, everybody drop the Buck emojis in the chat for good luck. He's still responding. Wakiana. Wakiana. Walkstar. Holy W. Yeah, he loved the message. I said, you busy tonight? I'm going to be live in like 30 minutes if you want to come through. Yeah. I also told him, I was like, Brady also said you're a great fighter, made excuses about the Morales loss, claiming he had injury and wasn't mentally prepared, and is happy the fight isn't 5 rounds anymore. That's what I told Buck today. And I also sent him the timestamp. Okay, looks like he's not down. Looks like he's not down. He said, well, shit. I don't want to read it out to everybody, but he says he just saw my message and he'll be going live Saturday for the fights. He wants to get me on with him. So maybe I could pop on to Buck's stream for a little bit on Saturday. Maybe I'll pop into Buck's stream a little bit on Saturday. But it looks like he's not down. It's like 11:30. I'm sure he just winded down for bed, so I'll leave him alone. I know it's 11:30 where he's at. Shout out to Buck, though. I'll get back to him after stream. No need to really respond yet. So, shit, Buck let us down tonight. No, I'm playing. It's okay. Should I go on Buck's stream on Saturday, though, for the fights? I could pop on there for a little bit, maybe. Although I like to pop on my stream with you boys. My name is Deshaun says, can you ask Buckley to rate Brady's grappling from what he's seen on tape from a scale from Colby to Usman? Yes, I'll ask him that. I'm not going to ask him right now, but I'll ask him in the interview because that's a great interview question. On a scale of Colby to Usman, what would you rate Brady's grappling? Bro, it's like, how the fuck do you, what's the... what's the in-betweens of that from Colby to Usman? It's like, how do you say he's in the middle of that? I guess you say he's more like he's closer to Colby or he's closer to Usman. Shout out to the boys who couldn't drop it because they're not members. No worries, no worries. I know you would have done it. Should you is crazy. Should you what? Space Kid, I'm missing that one. Oh, should you? Yeah, should I go on his live stream? So Space Kid says, the invite for me to go on Joaquin's live stream is a no-brainer, yes. Damn, Space Kid making me realize in real time that I should have been more hyped for Joaquin to invite me. All right, all right. I'll be more hyped that Joaquin invited me. I should definitely be more hyped, huh? I feel like a lot of you boys in the chat were expecting me to be more hyped. Sorry about that. But I'm hyped. That's flattering that Joaquin would like to have me on his platform as well. That is definitely nice. Brandon, shut up, boy. Shit, AI2A in the building. JP Money saying, what's up? What's up, JP? Rosas Jr. That little fucker. I'm still mad at him. Still mad at Rosas Jr. for giving us a shit fight. Oh, yeah. I seen something about Arturo Gotti's son. You guys see about Arturo Gotti's son? Take a bottle of Alpha Brain before you go on. Should I just drink a Bang? It's like the same thing. Bang energy drink. Take a little creatine. Drink a little water. A little caffeine, a little water. A little creatine. Little lemon zest in the water to lower cortisol. If you boys don't know that, that's actually a big help. Scientifically speaking, lemon peels lowers cortisol. So if you digest lemon peel, it'll lower your cortisol. That's actually Hamzat's strength and conditioning coach. That guy Sam Calvita. He's the one who teaches that. But no, Arturo Gotti apparently Jr. was unalived. Yeah, somebody did it to him. Somebody did it to Gotti Jr., bro. It wasn't a SUIC. It wasn't a SUIC, and I won't spell the rest, but it wasn't like he took his own life. Can I put it like that? Wasn't like he took his own life. There is news that came out, though. Apparently, there's a 41-minute video. Shocking evidence. Honestly, maybe we could watch this tomorrow. Somebody just tagged this on my post. America First says, Brandon getting zesty. Shit. I hope not. I hope not. Logan Paul just pressed Tom Brady before their upcoming flag football game, so Tom clapped back at Logan for ducking fights with Myles Garrett and Le'Veon Bell. I can't be bothered with this right now. Space Kid says, you drink any protein shakes? At the moment, no, homie. At the moment, I don't drink any protein. At the moment, no protein. I really only utilize protein shakes if I'm trying to like gain weight, bulking style. If I'm not bulking style, then I'm not drinking protein shakes because I'd rather eat the food to suppress my appetite. You feel me? I'd rather eat 25 grams of protein or 50 grams of protein than drink it if I am, you know, trying to like maintain my weight, be on a little bit of a deficit, if you will. But my stomach is growling right now. I'm kind of hungry, low key. Brandon, trying to go to sleep, do some ASMR. AI2A. AI2A testing. Hamzat is a cock sucker. All right. Don't get too mad at that one. I'm playing, homie. I know some people they get very offended if I say something like that, but shit, that's American slang. So if you're not American, that might really bother you. But homie asked me for ASMR. I tried to give it to him. Hamzat will get sick before Strickland. If not Hamzat, then Brady will get sick before Buck. That's for damn sure. Regions with a lot of mountain goats have a lot of old wives' tales with the training. Yeah, America First, speaking about Arturo Gotti Jr.'s death, found, you know, dangling in an apartment, 17 years old, reported by a family friend. Okay, my stomach's actually kind of hurting. I don't know if I gotta take a shit or what, but maybe it's all the sitting down. Or maybe I'm hungry. Shit, we gotta get to the bottom of this though, don't we? There could be 3 reasons why I'm not feeling the best. I just feel like a lot of congestion. Could be the hungry burps, or maybe I gotta take a shit. Okay, no other news though, man. There's no other news. Other than Peep and Shred and Movsar. Homie thinks this is a sign that he's on roids. I don't know. I don't have that. I don't have that on my arm. LMAO, go eat something real quick. Yeah, I think I might have to. Yeah, see, somebody said bro's finding out in real time. No one uses his character. And then Ben Askren goes, I can confirm that I've got multiple royalty checks from the UFC for the video game. Not sure exactly what their metric is for deciding who gets them. How much you use the player, probably. Hey, Piers Morgan got destroyed by HS Tiki Taki. Did he not? All that buck talk getting you sick. Yo, I didn't think I'd see the day where Piers Morgan is forced to walk off his own interview. Homie makes a career off of bodying his guests, right? Essentially trying to body his guests and just like tear him down. And homie got skeletons in his closet because I guess something not right with his wifey. Not exactly sure what HS Tiki Taki, is on with this. Meaning like, I don't know the lore behind him calling out Piers Morgan's wifey. But I know that it really upset Piers Morgan, and it seems like HS Tiki Taki is onto something. Seems like he is onto something because Piers Morgan straight walked off. Piers straight walked off, bro. JP says all Russian fighters are on gear. It's probably why they're so inactive, bro. And they train in these faraway ass fucking regions.
As soon as you're away,
all right,
who's this? Applications are open.
All right, let's just.
That's your team, bro. That's your goal.
Let's end this, please.
Cooked.
You know what? I'm not doing this. Sorry, guys. It's pointless.
For Piers Morgan to walk off his own show is insane. Like I said, he brings these guys on to make him look bad. And then he plays innocent the whole time, but it's like, homie brings these guys on to make him look bad. It's low-key hilarious. Shout out to the streaming world. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, though. This is why I can't really always scroll X like freely, bro, because you guys see what just popped up, like some woman holding a little girl by the head. She looks like she's gone low key. Okay, that girl's alive. Thank God. That little girl's alive. I am Saturday. I should call homie in the Discord sometimes for a little pre-fight breakdown, because he does have a lot of the fight breakdown that I think some of you guys are looking for. I know I don't got as much of the fight breakdown, but Saturday does. He takes notes and shit. But he's saying no fighter on planet Earth should debut at -235 versus Nathaniel Wood. Respectfully, it's the most broken line of 2026 so far. Bookmark this tweet. All right, let's see. Let's see it. Magic Bet saying Movstar Evloev in his top 5 juicers ever. Big fan of his doctor. Getting him to Lesnar era levels with bodybuilding aesthetics / performance. 0 fucks given. I mean, homie definitely increased the biceps for sure. Everything. He's definitely bulked up. Look at the chest before and after. Homie added some serious size on the chest, bro. Or he coming in here with more water retention, I can't tell. Looks like a little bit of both. Evlev, one of the top 5 juicers, though. I've seen some videos. Not of him injecting, but...
You want to jump in my pool?
I want to die, coach.
Okay. No problem. You want to jump in my pool?
All right, boys. I'm going to hop off stream, though. I got to go eat something. I stuck around for you guys a little bit longer, so hopefully you boys enjoyed it. I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Once again, we locked in for the next 90 days. So 90 days straight of live streaming. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We are officially, like, this is pretty much 3 weeks. So, yeah, we 21 days in so far. 69 to go. Shout out to everybody who watched. Oh, shout out to Streets. I'm going to get out of here. Shout out to AI2A. Shout out to Bloodhound Lil Jeff. Shout out to JP Money. Shout out to America First. Shout out to Space Kid for keeping me in here a bit longer. Shout out Lord of the Pies. Shout out to Tyler Betts. Shout out to America First, if I didn't say it. Shout out to Soda Pop. Shout out to John Dong. Shout out to Space Kid. Shout out to Tony Sal. Shout out to Buyer Seller. Shout out to Deshaun. Shout out to Miata Boy was in here. Shout out to Yeah Buddy. Shout out to Useless. Shout out to You're Retarded. Shout out to Mike Co. Shout out to Perfecto. Shout out to Brian C. All the loyal viewers returning every day. Much appreciated. Gotta say it. Who else we got in here? Meat Rocket, shout out to you, homie. David Panda, good to see you in here, homie. Should we do a roll call every motherfucking night? Kyoki, shout out to you, homie. Alex Poeton Pereira, he had a very sad chat earlier. I did see this. Let me read it now. Poeton Pereira says, bro, what will I do? He might have meant, what will you do? But he says, bro, what will I do if someone very close to you betrays you by cheating with another person? Well, homie, the time with them is done, unfortunately. The time with them is done, unfortunately, homie. If your girl cheated on you, I'm sorry. And it's probably just best if you part ways. Especially if you treated her right. You know, especially if you treated her right. If you treat her like shit and she cheated, well, then you might want to blame yourself. for making it unpleasant for her. You feel me? But I'm not going to say you did that. I'm just giving you both sides of it. If you did everything right, you know, and she still did that to you, sorry to hear that. And, you know, your time with her is done, homie. Tell her I said that. Shout out to HT for dropping in. Shout out to David Dean. Shout out to AD Kid. Shout out to Hawk, the high school homie. He finna graduate soon. Couple months. Shout out to Gravy Show for popping in. Shout out to Juice. Shout out to Tom. Shout out to MMA Homie, aka DJ MTK, my host on the Wednesday show. Tune into him next week or next month. He'll be back in April. He taking a 2-week break. He only on twice a month anyway, so it's nothing new. Shout out to Dylan for coming in the chat. And shout out to Bloodhound Lil Jeff once again. Shout out to everybody. All right, peace out, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow. Subscribe if you're not subscribed to keep up with all the live streams. And, yeah, hit the like button on the video on the way out. We wanted 25. We already blew past it. So, shit, just run up the likes on the way out. If you didn't like it, smash the like